If you like the NBA draft, then the Thunder have the most fascinating offseason in the entire league. What are they going to do with all these picks? 3 firsts this year, 19 firsts through 2027. Sam Presti is like the queen on the chessboard right now. In the draft, he can make any move he wants. But that's not all they have to worry about. There is a ton of cap space they must use or it goes away quick. I know that sounds weird, but I will explain. OKC is in year 3 of the rebuild, and while they have good players like Josh Giddey, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, they still only won 24 games. How do they take that leap from a fun young team to a competitor like the Grizzlies? First, the offseason basics. Cap space $32 million if they use it before June 30th. Exceptions, the full $10.3 million mid-level and the $4 million biannual. Their needs, depth and star talent. Draft picks, they have 3 firsts, including their own first-round pick, which has a 12.5% chance to go number 1. Relevant free agents, Lu Dort, who we'll get into. In this offseason, I'm going to include how they were expected to perform versus how they actually performed. So the preseason win total was 23.5 wins, but they won 24. And we'll get to OKC's draft, but I would argue Lu Dort's extension is even more important. No one believed in him. He was in the G League after college. OKC called him up because of an injury, and he became a starter 8 games later. One of the best defenders in the NBA. I know Kevin Love wants to fight him, but he is loved in OKC because he actually cares as much as fans.
It's a blessing just to be here, me coming from Montreal and being here with all these guys. The way we play didn't add up away, but it was big. It was big. It's a hell of a season I had, and I'm grateful for that.
I know we talk about John Wall having the worst contract in the NBA. Lu Dort has the best contract in the NBA. They've been paying him $1.7 million a year. That's as much as like a random second-round rookie. So they have 2 choices with Lu Dort, okay? They can wait to next year to save cap space to pay him, but risk another team swooping in, or pay his max 4-year $58 million. And obviously, to quote Rounders,
pay him. Pay that man his money.
Next is this weird cap space situation. So they have $32 million to spend or 0. This is all happening because of a different extension for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai makes about $5 million now, but his max kicks in on July 1st, which will wipe out all their cap space. So right now they have $32 million, but once Shai's max kicks in, they have none. So right now they can sign like Bradley Beal? No, obviously not. Beal wouldn't choose them, and he's not even on their timeline. They should take someone else's bad money. They did this last year with Kemba Walker, and they got the Celtics first-round pick as a reward. And there are several options this year. First off, the Thunder get Tobias Harris, the Sixers 2023 first. The Sixers get Derek Favors if he opts in. Philly does this to get out of Toby's horrible contract and open up about $24 million in cap space to sign a free agent. OKC does this, and they get yet another first-round pick. Another option would be the Thunder getting Russell Westbrook and the Lakers 2027 first, and LA getting Derek Favors and Mike Muscala. The Lakers didn't want to get rid of a first to get John Wall, but maybe this is more enticing, because if LA does this, they get a $30 million trade exception. So much talent makes under $30 million. Donovan Mitchell if the Jazz blow it up, De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, and OKC gets a really valuable Lakers first, and Russ can actually end his career where it started. And honestly, Russ should want this. I think the only city that actually wants him right now is OKC. Finally, let's get to the draft, and this is the focus of their offseason. The Thunder have to use the draft to build their team because free agents aren't going to go there. Yes, they can trade for players, but that's once they become competitive. First, they have to get stars, and they've already done this process once. KD in 07, Russ and Serge Ibaka in 08, James Harden in 09. That is an insane run, but they can do it again, and no one's in a better position than OKC with all these picks. So their 3 first this year are their own, which has a 52% chance to be in the top 4, the Clippers, and the Suns, probably the last pick in the first round. And I think they have 3 options for what to do with these picks. Number 1, pick the players. Now that seems obvious, but actually it's the least likely thing to happen. They already have 15 guys on the roster. Unless they're gonna cut 3 dudes, they will have to trade some of these draft picks. If they do pick number 1, it is Chet Holmgren. Now, I had Chet going to the Rockets as well, but he is a perfect fit in OKC too. They already have a solid backcourt with SGA, Lu Dort, Trey Mann. Josh Giddey handles the ball too. They don't have any young talent at center. Chet is an elite rim protector who shoots 40% from 3. It's a no-brainer. But what happens if they don't get the number 1 overall pick? Because Thunder fans know that is probably not going to happen. Last year, they also finished with the 4th worst record, which also had a 12.5% chance at number 1, but they fell to number 6. But that is where Sam Presti showed his genius. People slammed him for taking Josh Giddey. They said he reached. Giddey was a late lottery pick. But just like the Raptors taking Scotty Barnes over Jalen Suggs, the media was wrong. So if they do fall again in this draft, they should take Shadon Sharpe, a wing from Kentucky, except he didn't actually play for Kentucky to prepare for the NBA draft, like playing at Kentucky is not preparing. So we really don't know what he looks like in big games, but maybe that is a plus in a weak draft. Maybe the dude who falls to 6 is actually a beast, but we didn't get to see it. We do know he shoots the lights out, is a good passer, and is athletic enough to develop into a good two-way player. He does have to work on things like pick and roll offense, but he's gonna get plenty of those reps in the league. In the Clippers pick, they should take Ochai Agbaji, fresh off a national championship, a 6'5" wing who made a jump in shooting this year. Over 41% from 3. Killer in transition. He can shoot his own off the dribble. I'm not saying he's a difference maker, but as a senior in college, he is ready to contribute now. Then at 30, they pick, it could be anyone, Patrick Baldwin Jr. He is a project with an NBA body. They've got a lot of guys like that already. 6'9", 220, super young, but he fits right in. Option 2 with these picks is to trade up in the draft. At any point, if Sam Presti falls in love with someone high in the draft, dude, he's got so many assets to move up. He could trade like 5 firsts to get all the way to number 1. He could trade 10 firsts. But this year, why not trade like number 4, 15, and 30 to get up to number 2? Then they could take Chet or Jabari Smith. Option number 3 with these picks is to trade out of the draft. Maybe the least exciting move, but probably the most likely. Last year, they had too many picks. Also, they traded number 16 to the Rockets for more picks in the future. Now, number 16 ended up being Alperen Şengün. So it was dumb, but I do think Sam Presti will probably do this again. So guys, we have officially kicked off the off-season videos. I did not think before the season the first off-season video I would do would be the Lakers, but they are the very first in the playlist. The goal is by the time next year starts, we will have all 30 teams in the playlist, but again, Lakers have already been released, so go check them out right here.